Hello and welcome to the M2 Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Scorner, joined here by Tony Toes at RT. How's it going, Tony?
Hello. Yeah, very. I was gonna say bonjour, and I decided not to for some reason. I thought
You're
I wouldn't be French today.
you're anti-French today, because I'm
Yeah,
very anti-French today, based on some of the business news we've got later.
yeah. It was. Yeah, there was a reason for not saying bonjour.
Yeah, welcome to the podcast. I'm Joe Scorner. I'm joined here by Tony Toes at RT, and we're here to talk about. I feel like I've never said this intro in forever, so I'm just going to say it. We're here to talk about gaming news and everything in between. We never say that anymore.
No, we just do it instead.
Is there anything you want to talk about before we start the gaming news this week, Tony?
Yeah. I was going to quickly mention I've been busy this weekend looking at buying a new car, the old Cupra Born. If you,
Jason Bourne.
yeah, Jason, but spelled differently. It's just
Okay.
Born.
Jesus
But
Christ,
yeah.
he's got the Cooper Born.
He's driving a Cupra Born. Yeah. Basically, if for car people, or electric car people, I suppose, like it's the same platform as the Volkswagen ID3. So,
Right.
but better, in my opinion. So I've just been looking at that. Pretty good.
You said
So what's the meaning? Like, I'm going to buy it.
Yes. It's got one of those giant iPad displays that lots of e-cars have. You'd love to see that.
Yeah, so I did want to mention that actually. Yeah, so the reason so I test drove it 2 weeks ago. This time around, I didn't test drive it. I was in the passenger seat because I wanted to mess around with the touchscreen. The thing is,
Right.
Joe, there's
Yeah.
no like proper like knobs or buttons for like the AC or like volume sliders and
You
stuff.
have to do it all through a touchscreen because that's awful.
Sort of. So yes, you
Right.
can do it all through the touchscreen, but right below it is then like haptic buttons
What's
underneath it that
that?
you can slide.
What's the knob on the driver's right side door? What's that for?
On the door.
Yeah, I'm looking at a photo of
That's
the
normally
car right
for
now.
That's normally for wing mirrors, so you can
Oh, okay, right.
electronically change the wing mirrors.
Like an interesting knob.
It's like the
So do
only
I.
knob in the car.
Okay. Well, if I was in it, there'd be two knobs in the car. So.
The thing is, I like a good knob, so I just
Good.
feel like,
Have you rated the knob feel for the knob feel
yeah.
feature?
Well, I don't think the
Yes.
knob feel guy. He hasn't reviewed the Cooper Board, unfortunately. He'd
Not
be very
yet. Not
disappointed.
yet. No.
But no, but like, I was okay. I definitely would rather have proper buttons and like proper analog dials or knobs, right?
Right.
But I was like, I wanted to go and see like how much I hated the haptic feedback stuff. I know like Alex from LTT like really hates the haptic stuff, and like it looks very similar to other EVs that he looked at with
Mm.
like haptic buttons on the steering wheel and on the below the touchpad or
As a
touchscreen. Sorry.
as a non-car person, I don't drive. Just people
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I'm more interested
You're
in
a bike
like
guy.
yeah, I like cycling. I'm more interested in like the iPad screen than the actual car
Yeah,
itself. If I was gonna, I feel like I'm car blind. Like I struggle to tell the difference between two
yeah.
cars.
My mum's very similar to that. Like you like can only like she can like look at the different types of cars, but like can't tell the difference between the same like two different of the same different John or different brands but the same type of car. You can't see the difference.
So I'm looking at this and I'm like, yeah, that's a car.
Yeah, it's a car.
But you
So
were talking
to you
about
then,
you liked how it looked because
I
I think
I
it's fine.
really like the way how the outside looks. I really like the copper accents it has with the metallic paint it has going through it. Like it really works well. As long as you don't choose
Yeah.
red. Red and copper doesn't work. Don't choose that.
You're gonna get the
The
blue
inside
model.
is really good. So
You're gonna get the blue model, the blue paint job.
okay, the blue model is the premium model. It's like the one they show in the adverts.
Okay, right. I'm
It
looking at the
looks
adverts.
way better in CGI in real life than real life. Real life is too dark a blue for
And
me.
what color are you getting then?
I am looking either at a grey or they call it okay. They imply it's like a dark grey. It clearly is just a black. They call it quasar grey. So I'm gonna go for the physics option, I think, and just go for full quasar. I don't know if you know what
Oh,
a
so
quasar
they're
is.
showing in it. Yeah, I know.
Okay, everyone knows what a quasar is.
I'm looking at someone's pulled up photos of Cupra Born next to the ID3, and they do look quite. Obviously, color patterns aside, they do look very similar on like the inside of the car.
They are like the platform underneath it is like exactly the same. So the body has to like match it, obviously. Yeah, they're very similar, but I much prefer the front and the back to the Cupra Born, like how it's like styled and like how angular and stuff it looks. And the inside is much more important though.
And it included airbags. You love to see
They include airbags.
Yeah, you get free airbags if you buy this car.
Oh my god! What year
What
is
a
it?
feature!
I forget it's like 1950s. It comes with an airbag. It's an included feature.
Well, you remember that scene in Star Trek, the original series? Well, she's a handsome-looking car. Yeah.
Oh, I can't
Yeah,
remember.
it's a reference to the alien. I think it's like Bones. Is he the alien or someone? It's like Kirk's like everyone. He sees like an old woman.
Yes.
But Kirk,
yeah.
Kirk sees that in reality it's an old woman, but he sees like a young woman, and he's like, "Well, she's a handsome-looking woman. I'll give you that." I'm like, "Well, it's a handsome-looking car."
Yeah.
Anyway,
But yeah, as I was saying, this like the Hatsy bundle things I did not hate, and I could actually I think I could get used to it. Again, I would prefer buttons and physical dials, but it's fine. It works, and the touch and the actual touch screen is not the right word, right? The big iPad.
The big iPad.
It works quite well.
I can see CarPlay on it. I'm guessing Android Auto as well. Because
it has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I've actually seen I've watched like tech reviews of, like how it works with both of those. And it's like oddly, so the map that's included with the car is quite. It's not laggy, but it's like not as responsive as you would expect. As soon as you plug your phone in, obviously the phone's doing like a lot of the processing work. Like it's like then really like silky smooth maps. It's like okay, well,
here's something I've wondered. You know, sometimes people get like 4G in their car or something.
Yes.
Is that because you can get a better connection through the car itself? Like it has a wider range, sort of thing.
Yeah. So when you what that does is once you connect your phone to I think that this works over Bluetooth as well. It will like just be like, oh, we'll just route calls through the antenna in your car, connecting to wherever. I think it's a bigger antenna. It should be better at connecting. Is the idea? I think it works well.
Would you
also as well
pay
like
for a
in modern
separate
cars?
line just for the car though?
Yeah, I was gonna say like in more modern cars they tend to they want to have other tech stuff. So like you can buy for the Cupra Born, for example, like you have like a tech subscription, so you'd have like remote access or remote information through an app, which requires it connected to the internet, which I think needs to go through the SIM. So I think realistically it had its own eSIM somewhere.
eSIM. We'll talk about eSIMs a little bit later as well, very quickly.
But yeah, I think the plan is to end the Cupra Born intro, I suppose. I think I'm definitely gonna.
This is the one. You're not gonna go out and go, "Oh fuck it, I'm buying a Tesla now."
I don't want a Tesla. I've seen the Teslas and it's not for me. I'm not a minimalist, and I prefer the look and like the And also the Tesla's like it's like 5 to 10 grand more depending how you spec it. And it's like okay, well, this is not, and it's bigger, so I'd rather not. But yeah, I'm planning to order this within like the next few months. So, and there's like a 9 to 12-month lead time in building it.
The start of Tony's electric car waiting list watch. Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna add a meme thing. I forgot. It has RGB inside, Joe. Ambient lighting that you can change.
I've got to see this on it. Let me look it up. Cupra Born RGB.
It's just like in the doors, and like I think there's like a light somewhere else as well, like the doors and on the dashboard. I think, and it's like okay, that's kind of neat. I'm down for that. I would like more RGB.
Hello. Oh, am I still live?
Are you alive?
Am I alive? Yeah, I was like, I don't know if I dropped or you dropped.
I don't know. Is the stream still going?
Yeah, the stream's still going, to my knowledge.
Might be me then.
I can message Jesse.
It could very well be me.
Yeah. We'll keep going for now. I'll message a friend and see if he can watch the stream. Stream's still going. Did Tony cut out for the stream?
That's a good question.
I think it was you. I think you were cutting out earlier in Discord, but I couldn't tell if it was you or me. So
Right.
did Tony cut out the stream? He just said nope question mark. Okay, well, we'll just carry on. It's the end of the electric car talk. Jesse's very confused.
Yeah.
I
But
think
so
we
I've
both
got to wait a
got-
long time
no,
for my car?
It happened earlier. Never mind.
I assume I did cut out.
It got out for me. Anyway.
Although Discord's like reporting like really weird stuff to me, like it's not like giving me any like internet information right now, so I don't know what's going on there.
What you didn't get? I've got full voice connected, 38 milliseconds
Well,
on there.
Yeah, mine says full voice connected, but it's then meant to give you like up to date like ping and like data like bitrate information, and mine's not showing anything.
Well, when you hover over it.
Yeah, it's like available ping 0, outbound packets 0.
I can get that. Well, I can hover over and it's telling me my ping. Anyway. I've got 30 ping apparently. Anyway.
I would assume it's me because mine's not reporting correctly anymore.
Well, we'll
Anyway,
have to go back to the original podcast. Tony's
Yeah.
gonna have to come around.
You're only 40 minutes away.
So
so
still, I
easy.
know we're still live. It's just we're trying to figure out if when we were talking in Discord, Tony cut out specifically, and I couldn't tell if it was me cutting out or if it was Tony. That's what we're trying to figure out.
Well, from my point of view, you didn't cut out, so I'd assume it's me.
Okay. Anyway, let's move on to the podcast. So first up, we have trailers, and we have a trailer for Stick It to the Stick Man. Tony, I don't know if you remember this game, but we've actually played it on itch.io, and I had no idea about the time. You remember it was the Stickman game where you work in a corporation and you start like getting different moves and throwing cups and hammers at people?
Oh.
Yes. I started playing this, and you remember I just kept playing it. I was like, even when we stopped recording, I kept playing it because it was really, really fun. I didn't realize this at the time. This is made by Free Lives, the genital jousting Broforce Gorn people. It's made by like. So I believe it's one of the founders of Free Lives. He makes like game jam stuff and puts on itch, and that's where I played it. Was on his itch page. Right. Now it's being published by Devolver and turned into a full game.
It's classic Devolver
really cool.
move.
Yeah, which is really, really cool to see because I'm a huge Free Lives fan. I think all of their games are always so completely different and always so awesome. So I'm really excited to try this one out again. If you want to know more about this game, obviously it's an earlier version, but check out our spotlight on Stick It to the Stick Man if you want to see how this game plays.
I mean, judging by the trailer, like a lot of the moves and what you played was like what we saw, so it's pretty similar in terms of that.
Somebody says, I'm so happy to see this getting a full release, probably one of the most polished free games on itch. Yeah, agree to agree.
Yeah. It was very good from what I could see.
Says Free Lives is working on Angerfoot, Terra Nil, and Stick It to the Stick Man. Are they working on Terra Nil?
Wait, they're working on Terra Nil?
That's just what a YouTube comment says, and I.
Yeah, what? I didn't think that was true.
They're also the developer of Terra Nil. I didn't realize this.
Okay. Fantastic game.
Oh. Yeah, because I've also played Terra Nil, if you're interested in that game. Was the one
I request you to play that?
You requested me to play it, and we did it for a spotlight, and I think I was playing it, and you were guiding me, and it was really
fun. I already played it twice. I was like, I really like this, and I was really curious to know if it's like, because obviously it's like more like a management.
I wanted Terra Nil to be my wallpaper. That's what I wanted it for.
It would be a very That'd be very good. I mean, that probably is a way to do that, right? Like, do like another program to force it to the background.
All right, next up we have Multiversus, and we have the Gizmo gameplay trailer. Gizmo has been added to Multiversus. Yeah, are my dreams for the Gremlins killer and DVD dead again?
Yes.
I saw something recently as well. Apparently, Velma. She would call the police on people as like her ultimate ability. So like a police car would be like, "There's the killer, get him!" And then they changed it to be the mystery machine because of controversy. They were like, we don't want to promote like
Okay.
police
I
brutality
don't.
or something like
Okay.
that.
I have opinions on that, but I feel like that's not here for the podcast. But yeah.
Right.
Okay. Interesting.
Oh, he's a furry. You'd love to read that.
It's a furry.
So I can't. So this game was in beta for the longest time. It's free to play, but I still never played it. I don't know if this is worth playing because the thing is, it's set up as a 2v2 game, I think, and I don't know. I just don't have anyone to play this game with, unfortunately. So,
Yeah. I think it's definitely like a friend, friend party game sort of thing,
I
right?
mean, I've been wanting to try. Like, I've played Smash Bros. I've played Nickelodeon All Star Brawl. So I like these kind of games, but I'm wary. Jesse said I'll play with you next week, and there it is. And there it is.
It's
But
easy as that.
I'm worried of these games. So I know it's free to play, so I'm worried like it's going to be all locked behind monetization sort of things. But it's like from what I've read, people are pretty positive about this one.
I thought it was just the skins that were not behind. Is
I
that
think
not? I thought.
I think
Is
you
that
may
not
have
true?
to unlock characters still.
Yes, I'm a character. Okay.
You may get a generous free roster. I don't know.
But I will say, there's not very many dislikes on this trailer, and I feel like if this was a microtransaction hell, people would like be annoyed every time a new character's added.
I think people are just happy to see Gremlins IP in something.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, well, and also it's well, it looks well implemented. They look like in keeping with the character. Can I call him a character? Is Gizmo a character?
Yeah, he's a character. Yeah, that guy's a real character. Next up, we have Cyberpunk 2077's official DLC. That's been we've known DLCs coming for Cyberpunk for a long time. Like, because there was the quotation marks DLC that was like added a jacket to the store or whatever, right?
Well, it's okay. The jacket one is more impressive than the other ones. It was like a selection of jackets, but they can all be each version of it can be like customized. It's like the worst one was like one that added like a gun and one that added a car. So,
what I can tell you about this one, it seems to be involving some American stuff, Phantom Liberty, and we know that
New America, New United States.
Keanu Reeves is actually coming back to voice more Johnny Silverhand specifically for this DLC.
Yeah.
Which
so
is,
I was asking, like,
really interesting.
Are these new lines or these like old lines they had left over? And it's like, no, he came.
No,
back.
specifically, they showed him off at the place they announced it, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm coming." Because I was thinking crazy. Like Keanu Reeves is going to be like, "Oh, I'm not touching that clusterfuck," after seeing like all the negative press about it. But
yeah,
interesting. People seem to like the Johnny Silverhand character.
He is a good character.
Cyberpunk's a game that I want to get back into. Like, I don't own it. I haven't played it. But it's like I was waiting for it to be fixed up, or I think I'm just waiting for it to go on a deep sale, and then I'm going to try it. I would really have any need to play it right now. But I could also. I was going to say I could play it because I have family sharing. My brother owns it, but my brother also recently got a Steam Deck, which means I can never play it now. He's always on Steam.
My recommendation would be like maybe wait for the DLC to come and get like the complete bundle. Because like that's what I remembered like The Witcher at the time. But I'm playing it straight away.
So CD Projekt Red have announced that Phantom Liberty is the only planned expansion for the game. So this will be like the one expansion for the game, sort of thing.
Unless it does like crazy well, maybe.
I hope the expansion changes some of the core gameplay stuff because.
Yeah, I mean, it does like adds more to the story, like the cool story stuff.
I think based on what I heard, they are going to rework the police system, which people were very unhappy about, where it just kind of spawns police officers behind you.
Yeah, there are mods now that they're starting to try and fix this. So
funny you should say that, Tony. As part of the 1.16, I think it's called the Edge Runners update. One of the biggest things that was released was we now have the official Red Mod tool is available for Cyberpunk through Steam and GOG.
Finally, mods.
So the thing is, mods. You joke because mods have existed for Cyberpunk for a while.
Yeah, this is helpful.
The official Red Mod tool allows you to directly go into like the binaries of the Red engine and have these official tools to help you. It's like an SDK almost, right?
Yeah. You can do way more with this than you could otherwise. But so that makes the older mods like way more impressive than what they could accomplish. But yeah, this should be like make it way more powerful.
So this means modders are going to be able to make more better mods, and it means that also you are going to be able to implement the mods into the game way easier.
Yeah. This is a win. Like it is like it's funny. Like it's mods are finally available, but yeah, no, this is actually really really good.
Now I'm more interested to see what mods come out now that we have these tools, because I know they're going to be more powerful and they could change some.
Yeah,
A
the
lot more
other
core
problem with
fundament.
mods in the past is because the game was so broken that obviously they kept releasing updates. Like every update would like break every single mod.
You know what? I
So it's
think the
like,
game that annoys me the most for this is, and I wish Steam would add the ability to skip this update to
play
um
without updating.
yeah, because you can
Yeah.
you can do like the beta branch thing, but I wish, because I know. Sorry, I'm gonna tangerine really hard right now. You know
Okay.
that some games need to update to fix like vulnerabilities in multiplayer games
Oh yeah, for
specifically.
multiplayer, for
You
multiplayer, absolutely.
Steam should have an option to game developers to go, hey, we can make it so when you post out an update, you can tick a box to say don't make this a mandatory update, because one of the most
I
annoying things for me is Beat Saber's updates break mods every time they release every time they release an update, and every update is a random like BTS music pack that I
hmm
don't.
hmm
That's not why
I
people
would go
play like Beat Saber or whatever.
I would go one step further though. I would say every update ever should be something you can opt out of. And you may be thinking that's stupid, but like my plan is here. Like, say you got a multiplayer game, but obviously you have to download the update. My thing would be like, you don't download the update, you can't access the servers anymore. Like the binaries
Hmm.
wouldn't match. Like it's an easy check.
What's
So like,
the
and I don't trust people like Bethesda. Like Bethesda would be like, oh, we have this great update. You have to download it to play it. Like they wouldn't tick the checkbox of like optional download. It's like I think it should just be you can play the game without updating it. Like as long as it runs, you can launch it without updating. Because I don't know if you know this, but like like anniversary like updates and like Skyrim like get messed up for mods, right?
yeah?
Luckily, if you launch Skyrim without using Steam, like using like external mod launcher, it won't force Steam to update the game.
I was just checking the price of Cyberpunk. It seems like it's the cheapest it's been is £25.
Yeah, wasn't that during like the Christmas or summer or something? I can't remember. It was like recently, right?
I think it's been like 50% off, like quite recently.
Yeah.
So makes
I mean,
sense.
it's like almost 2 years old, isn't it?
But my rationale right now is I've been trying to do this for years now. Now that I'm on Tony level of game hoarding, where I own over like 1,000 games on Steam alone.
hmm
Um, I'm trying to. If I don't want to, if I'm not going to play a game immediately, there's no point for me to purchase it because it would just become cheaper.
Yeah, yeah. I'm at a point now as well.
And
Unless I'm actually gonna, I really want to play like right that second, which is very rare for me
well,
now.
given
I'm like
given that
weighing.
I'm on the wheel at the moment, shout out to Saunas for I just literally spun Getting Over It, which is going to be an absolute fucking nightmare. But we'll see about that. There should be a tangerine about the wheel coming up at some point, um, with an update in some of the games I've been playing.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on. Oh, Joe's weird VR game of the week, Tony. Your nuts are going to start fucking quaking, buddy.
Oh, not again. We've talked about Quake already. How can there be more Quakes then?
Tony, you can
Oh
now.
my god.
Well, this mod came out a couple years ago, I think, even, but it's just been brought to my attention again
Right.
because I think there's a new version of it on GitHub. Basically, I think it's built on like the old Quake, so this is not going to run with Night Dive's version, but it is Quake, the original Quake, running with virtual in-game hands, with finger tracking, the ability to dual wield weapons with two hands, physical melee combat, including throwing weapons and headbutts. I watched this video fighting like, because I think this is like Dissolutions of Eternity or anything or something. We did that Quake Tangerine that came out to like
Yeah.
today, and I forgot that I fought a dragon in that game. Like, there's so much stuff that happens in Quake in its expansions and stuff. I just completely forgot about. But it's like, dude, hand tracked VR, like, because I was reading the post this guy made on Reddit, and he was saying like he tried to turn Quake into like a like a AAA quality VR game sort of thing.
Yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
idea, like not just like
And if the game's already made,
a
just add the VR
buggy
stuff.
mod sort of thing, but to try and make it feel
Yeah.
like it was made natively for VR almost, which I was like, oh, that's a really like lofty goal. Getting
Yeah. Yeah.
Over It streams on Twitch. Michael says. Okay. I think I'm going to be doing the Discord streams though. I don't think anyone wants to watch me die over and over again on Discord. Apparently you can play. So apparently you can play multiplayer with this, and you can play co-op as well. You have like the original Quake files. I think that's the only thing you need to provide for this mod. But if you own the Quake on Steam, you can get the original Quake files as well. So even if I believe it's built in a way so it's just not going to work with the new version of Quake, which would have been really cool. Like if this worked with the Night Dive port of Quake, I would have been in immediately, sort of thing, just downloading it straight away. But
Oh yeah.
This is still nevertheless really, really freaking cool. So
So this definitely
awesome.
won't work with the Night Dive version.
I don't know if there's a way to get it to work, but just from looking, it doesn't seem like it would. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. So move on to the next one. So move on to quick news, Tony. Quick news. You can run Quake on an Apple Watch, Tony.
Oh, speaking of smart, okay, I'll tangerine after the story.
Oh, you haven't bought a Samsung, have you?
No, but I wanted to talk about what I was looking at smartwatches.
So Quake 1 has been ported to run on the Apple Watch 5, with the game offering touchscreen and digital crown controls. I explained the port of the for iOS and Mac with a lot of tweaks to get it to work within the watchOS framework. It runs at 60 frames per second at 640 times 480 resolution. You can run it at a higher resolution with a lower frame rate.
So you have to use buttons on the screen.
The port is available on GitHub, with a demonstration and more information on the build process.
Interesting. So I think I was saying that when I was looking at smartwatches, like obviously I was looking at Android smartwatches, but obviously
you like
the
tilt
Apple
your
Watch is the best
with that little fucking thing on the side, the little like knob. That's interesting.
Can you not use the gyros and like it detects you walking and stuff? That would be cool.
It's the Apple Watch 5. I don't know how old that is. I don't keep up with the Apple Watch.
The 8 came out this year, right?
I believe so. They just came out with the
I
Ultra.
swear they release one every year.
That's what I know from the Apple event that happened. Oh,
I'm pretty sure
he's showing now you can use gyro to move.
Oh, nice. I just thought it'd be hilarious to use gyro because like, you would look so stupid doing it.
You just walk around like what was I saying? Like I was like it would be really cool if you could get like a Digivice on your Apple Watch.
Yeah. Because I was saying like, I could see like a Tamagotchi sort of thing working on your watch, and you're like, oh, I'd love to. And you said like, oh, I'd love to see Digimon. I was like, yeah.
Well, I used to have one of those Digivices as a kid where you'd shake it up and then it would like move around the Digimon to like battle and like evolve it and stuff.
Basically a Digimon Tamagotchi, but with battling as well. I never owned one, but I knew people. I knew a friend that had one. Oh, that's so cool. But imagine we could do with modern technology. Oh. So, because I was looking for like I was looking at the Galaxy Watch 4 and the Galaxy Watch 5 that like somewhat recently came out this year, and I was like, oh, I wonder. I don't care about any like the sports or like tracking stuff. It's like I just want it for like I want like I like the interesting like watch faces you can get. But, like for me, it's like it would be nice to like have like emails and like texts and like WhatsApp notifications come through, and like that'd be really useful for me. Like, and I wouldn't miss it. Like if it like they vibrate and notify you, right? So it's like I was just thinking like I wonder what else you can put on this. Like what games can you get? I was like, you run Doom on a smartwatch. You're like, they've definitely already done that.
I mean, we literally talk about every single 2 weeks. Getting them to run Doom on something.
But I can never remember what they haven't done because you can just run it on everything. I just assume they definitely can at this point. Like, is it a computer?
It's the Doom rule of the internet. If it exists, it can run Doom.
I want to see on like one of those like old IBM room machines. Like, can you run Doom on that? Like punch cards.
Running.
That's what I want to know.
Probably. Anyway.
But yeah, I was just looking at I was interested in Galaxy watches. They're like £100 cheaper than Apple watches. So there's that. That's my tangerine on smartwatches. I may be getting one at some point.
Oh, Wolfenstein Enemy Territory is getting official dedicated servers from Bethesda.
Okay.
Or
Wait, which
id,
Wolfenstein?
I
This is
guess.
the which
So this
Wolfenstein
is
is this?
so this is a Wolfenstein game from 2003, and they're rolling
Okay.
out official dedicated servers for the game. Because I believe they just recently added it to the Microsoft Store and Games Pass. Because they just took a bunch of the old Wolfenstein and Doom games and just slapped them onto like Games Pass sort of thing.
Right.
But I think a lot of them are still like just running emulate through DOSBox sort of thing. They're not like again what I was saying with like the original Wolfenstein on Steam. It's just a DOSBox container for um, for the game rather than actually fixing them up to get them to run, natively through something like GZ Doom or under the source port to run better on modern systems, which would be nice.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting that it's not an update like patched to the dedicated server code. They're actually just launching a few official servers for Wolfenstein Enemy Territory that run vanilla without any mods at all. So I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like, this is people love this game. It's like a classic multiplayer
Yeah.
Wolfenstein game. So I thought that was really, really cool to see.
I guess people still want to play it, so it makes sense.
I guess the value proposition is that if it's on Games Pass, you should be able to play it in some capacity natively through Games Pass. And even if
Yeah.
there isn't like a huge demand for it, it should. Microsoft is not going to randomly shut down servers. They're not Ubisoft.
Yeah.
In an official FAQ for Hogwarts Legacy, it's confirmed Quidditch will not be playable in the game. God damn it.
What?
It's a disappointment to everyone, I think. We're all so excited for Quidditch.
I'm gonna have to play Quidditch in real life now.
Yeah. Can't believe it. Where is that on the page? Linked to because I believe they said you can still do broomstick racing.
What?
So yeah, Broomflight is a method of travel in Hogwarts Legacy, and there's also broom races. Players can take a flying
Do you
class
know
to master
what?
their broomstick.
I'm okay with just having that. I mean, I would like to see Quidditch in the game, I suppose, but broom racing
Well, there was
is good as well.
Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone on the PC. I remember playing that. That had Quidditch, I believe.
Yeah. It was pretty basic though, wasn't it?
If my kid brain is not deceiving me. So
From what I remember, like recent
like
playthroughs, it was like pretty basic.
broom flying was fun when you went to the broom flying class and you collected jelly beans and went through rings and you could collect that secret sticker thing for the sweets thing. I was like, but I loved the Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone game when I was a kid. So excited to play this one. I think it could be really fun if they do it well. Check this one out. Mario Kart Tour apparently is removing its gacha mechanics and adding a battle mode.
Okay.
So apparently, players will no longer have to try to win characters randomly. I think the idea was you would have to basically keep playing in order to unlock new characters, or you could pay to skip it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which is where they were making a lot of their money, sort of thing. Because the way I think this was like one of the ways we saw Nintendo diverging from their strategy, where they went from we're just going to make a good product, we're going to put it on the Switch or the Wii or whatever device they had at the time, and then they actually went full mobile with the Mario Kart Tour tracks. Although I heard some of the Mario Kart Tour tracks are okay because some of them have been ported to the new Mario Kart DLC.
Okay.
But this update will launch on October 5th. And Battle Mode, I can't believe that wasn't natively in a Mario Kart game. That just seems insane to me. So it'll be interesting to see how these updates. If the game is fun post the gacha being removed and Battle Mode being added, it might be worth trying it out again. I mean, I'm not against trying out.
My question is
game on
still,
mobile.
how much you have to like? How annoying is it to like unlock another character still? But yeah, this sounds better than RNG stuff, right?
So Nintendo's removing the pipe, and essentially the razors will come through a pipe, and you could get duplicates through the pipe as well.
Wait, you get duplicates as well? What?
Yeah. But they're now adding a spotlight shop, a rotating storefront where driver's cart and gliders can be bought outright with rubies.
So when they say rotating, they mean like seasonal rotation of shop stuff.
I have to see. Wait, can you earn rubies through the game? I've never played this. So I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
Can you
I'm just
earn
concerned. Like, it seems
rubies
to be
through the
removing
game?
RNG stuff, which is. But don't get me wrong, it's definitely an improvement. I'm trying to figure out whether it's like still like fair or not. Like, it still might be still predatory.
Okay. I'm curious. Let's see. Best way to get rubies apart from buying them. So apparently you can challenges, daily logins, level ups, and tour gifts. But there is some way to get rubies. I don't know the quantities.
Yeah, I'm just concerned that it's going to still be heavily linked towards. Like, oh, it's so annoying to like get unlock one character, so why don't you spend? But just spend a couple £100.
Yeah, we'll wait until October and see how this turns out. But it might be
Yeah.
worth trying again. Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection. Its release date has been leaked on the Epic Games Store as October 19th, according
Really
to
that close?
folks over at Epic. Because they announced this ages ago, and it still doesn't
Yeah.
have an official release date. It was leaked in the Steam database a few months ago as well, so it seems like October 19th is going to be the official release for the Legacy of Thieves collection again.
You get a glider in Fortnite.
Oh, let's go, dude. Okay, Sully's new seaplane glider in Fortnite. Let's go, dude. I'm gonna be dabbing on the haters.
That's what I care about.
Well, I'm getting looks like I'm getting Uncharted on the Epical Games Store now. But yeah, I've never played an Uncharted game, but I do want to try this. I think it might be a good place to start. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I would like to play the first Uncharted games, but they're not available on PC, so I'll probably give these a try.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, yeah, I think it's fine to start there. I think it's better to start from the start, but I think this is fine.
Well, I'm not buying a PlayStation, so there's that.
No, that's fair. Yeah, absolutely.
Next up we have, for Modern Warfare 2 on Steam, you only need a mobile number associated with your Steam account plus an Activision ID. You do not require a Battle.net account to play Modern Warfare 2 on Steam. So it seems like this is the first move from the Microsoft merger sort of thing. Have to see if... Because I know the deal is... I don't think it's officially gone through. I think it's more official now that it will be going through. I think one of the biggest proponents of this deal is basically Sony is like, do not sell Call of Duty to Microsoft. It will massively impact our business. They're very salty about it, sort of thing.
Well, yeah, I think their argument. I mean, yeah, obviously they only care about themselves, but I think their argument is that if you do that and they limit it to only their consoles, that's a massive monopoly attempt, or massive stronghold to
because I think
force you into a console.
This is the thing they're having to go through. There was like a UK one, and I think there was there's a couple. I thought
there's been things where it's like they said that they won't do it, and I feel like that might be from actually compliance with certain organizations. It's like, okay, we're not allowed to make this.
Internally, at least, this is further along. I think when they fully get the merger done, and then maybe we'll see stuff move from Battle.net over to Steam, Microsoft Store. We'll have to see where that stuff lands, but I don't know. So when the Bethesda launcher was sunsetted and they moved everything to Steam, I didn't give a shit. Like I have no no one's nostalgic for the Bethesda launcher. I can't. As someone who's an old school Blizzard player, the Battle.net name and is kind of nostalgic to me. I think if they sunsetted Battle.net, it would be weird. But I think having them on Battle.net and Steam would be a good compromise. If they took Overwatch, Hearthstone. Obviously, I don't think they would add
Overwatch 2.
The free-to-play ones are interesting because Overwatch 2 is going to be free-to-play and Hearthstone is going to be free-to-play. So you wouldn't make any sales revenue there, and then you would just be taking 30% of your microtransactions and giving them to Steam. So you'd only move them over there if you thought adding them to Steam could add a bigger market to your...
Well, what's the rules having a game on Steam but charging microtransactions in the game?
think if you charge them in the game, it still has to go
It still has
through.
to go through Steam.
I'm not 100% sure how it works.
No, because I'm not sure how MMOs do it. Because like something I don't know how it works in Guild Wars, for example.
If it's sold as DLC or Steam fund purchases, that 100% has to go through Steam.
Oh yeah,
which is where
100%.
they're going to take their 30%.
But if you're doing it like say like Guild Wars is something I know like how it works. Like if you like launch it through Steam in the game, you then like you need to like buy gems with your ArenaNet account, I suppose, or login to get it. Unless you're using your Steam account to like get the gems, I can't see them getting the 30% cut.
Also, this
Yeah, I
game
don't know
is
how that
going
works.
to be using Steamworks as well.
Right.
So it's not going to be like EA games where you launch it and then it loads up Origin or whatever, right? It's going to be native
It just
to Steam
launches
sort of
straight
thing.
through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I'd love
Okay.
to see. Also,
That
Call
is
of
an improvement.
Duty will become part of Xbox Game Pass, but launch on PlayStation at the same day. So the way it's going to work is when the new Call of Duty comes out, you'll get it like day one as part of Games Pass, which is fucking huge for Games Pass on
That's
PC
massive.
and Xbox. But if you want to play on PlayStation, it'll come out on the same day. You'll just have to purchase it, a copy through PlayStation.
Which is better than what Sony did back in the day when they had like not ownership but like exclusive deals with Call of Duty, when it's like they would like release it a month early and then not have it on Xbox.
Rust is adding a hardcore mode, the bad quality of life update. If you understand the meme from the other quality of life updates that have been coming out later in the podcast, there's going to be added the hardcore game mode. So basically, they added the softcore game mode for people when you saw that huge influx of players from the people who are like role playing or the Twitch streamers or whatever, right? But the idea is over the years that Rust has been out, Rust has added a bunch of quality of life updates in order to make the game, easy to play. But there was tons of veteran players saying, "Hey, a lot of these systems actually make the game a lot easier, and I preferred it when it was harder." So they're actually kind of removing a lot of the quality of life updates for this game mode, which I think is really, really interesting. They're unquality of lifing it.
Right, to make it harder.
Specifically in this game mode, so this is optional. So they're like removing the contact system, the compass. You can't crawl when you're wounded. They're removing global chat. They're removing team systems, safe zones. They're removing the map, stuff like that. Local chat, 100-meter range, limits
so
of 5 sleeping bags.
They listened to feedback and added a mode without ruining the other accessibility stuff. It's almost if different difficulty options makes a game good.
Well, the thing with Rust that I find like interesting is, I've never got into Rust yet, but the problem I have with Rust is I would want to basically get a bunch of friends together and host our own server, sort of thing.
100%.
Because I think a public server experience for me and a bunch of my friends would not be good, sort of thing. I mean, if we were going to, we would play on like the softcore mode, I think.
Yeah. So that you'd like get like your own dedicated server. Because
obviously, like
just your friends.
I could play like Rust public fine, but I have a lot of friends who aren't like as into gaming or into like the mechanics of FPS and building and stuff like that, and they need to take that stuff a little bit slower. So I know I would just need someone to build a server computer, Tony. I don't know if you know anyone. You could build me a Rust server.
Okay. Yeah. I'll have more information in the next podcast, I think.
Right. Next up we have okay. Just tease it there. I
was gonna. I just tangerine here, but the new AM5 Reason stuff is coming out, right, Joe? So I thought I'd wait for that to release. Build an AM4 computer.
There it is, the base play. The base play.
That's the teaser.
1047 Games has ended development for Splitgate and says they're working on a new shooter game. So Splitgate is the very popular free-to-play. It's like Halo with portals, basically.
I recognize the name, but yeah.
Like they famously have the game mode where in order to score points, you have to kill your opponent, and then you only score the point when you teabag them, and stuff like that.
That's great.
I think it's
like that.
Joe,
that's offensive. That's toxic.
Teabagging is toxic, yeah.
I disagree with that. Like people
But
like being banned from tournaments for teabagging. Fuck off.
the announcement here is basically they're going to stop developing for Splitgate, even though it's insanely popular, because they feel like the base for Splitgate is built on like sandy land. Basically, what they want to do is they want to build a new game. There's essentially going to be, I don't know if it's going to be called this, but it'll essentially be like Splitgate 2 sort of thing.
Yeah,
It's going to be like
built from the ground up.
built, so it's going to be built from the ground up on the buzzword these days, Unreal Engine. Everything's Unreal Engine 5. It's the new fucking buzzword engine. Unreal Engine 5 is going to cure everything. It's going to cure AIDS.
Well, I think, in fairness to it, it has become like the de facto thing where there's a lot of tools and like help you can get for it now. So like it does kind of make sense. But yeah, it's not a buzzword. Like it's just an engine, right? Like you can do what.
No, I think it is.
Engineers.
I think it is a buzzword.
It's a good engine.
People these days.
Yeah, for a lot of people it is. But I think there's a good reason to like have.
Why? Okay, Tony, answer. Why is it a good engine?
Because it's great for shape compilations. No, that's the reason why it's really bad. I would say
we haven't seen a single game be built on this yet.
No, that's true. But like, I suppose we're going by like what the previous versions are good at, right? So like,
Unreal Engine 4 is fine.
Yeah,
we just have faith. We just have faith.
Yeah, there are some cool things that like just like naturally supported in Unreal 4 that like aren't in Unity.
We are build up. Unreal Engine right now. Unreal Engine 5 from the previews we've seen, like the actual tech stuff, looks pretty cool. Yeah. Like I like Nanite. I think all that stuff looks really really cool. But until I see it in a commercialized product, I see how easy it is for people to actually build entire games in it. It's like people are huffing hopium on this. Like it's like, you know, it's like Valve fans with Source 2, where they go, as soon as Source 2 comes out, this will fix all gaming ever. It's like the idea of like Sandbox right now is like, if everyone was if Valve releases Source 2 SDK, ooh, that would solve everything. It's like, no, it's a tool. It's a tool, and it's a good tool. Yeah. Like Unreal Engine 5 and Source 2 are going to be good tools and whatever, right? But it's how people use them. They're not just like an immediate like, this game's going to be good because it's on Unreal Engine 5.
No, you can't do that. But I would say like when it comes to sequels to, I don't know if you can call them sequels, different versions of the same game engine, what tends to happen is like it's similar enough where it's like similar to the previous one, where like your skills can still be like transferred to the new engine with like better better quality of life stuff. So like how like Blender versions are like going up like from like one version to the next, but they had like big updates. So to me, it's kind of similar to that. Whereas that it shouldn't be ever going backwards, and I've not heard of an instance where upgrading the engine is like a backward step in this. So like, don't get me wrong, it might be like game-breaking bugs early on where it's like, oh, we can't develop this because this is broken. But it's like, those are like fixable bugs. But yeah, in terms of like, oh, this game's going to be good because it's in this engine, yeah, absolutely. Like the engine doesn't make the game.
Well, that's specifically what you just said is what I have a problem with. It's just, there's been so many announcements going, we're making a new game. And by the way, Unreal Engine 5, and that's all they're saying. And people are losing it because it's an Unreal Engine 5. Yeah. And I'm like, that doesn't mean anything. It literally doesn't mean anything.
Good. You still need skills to use the engine. Yes, the engine. Like, also, I want to hear more from like what the developers think of the engine. Like, I'm really curious to know what the actual like big like game-changing stuff is for them from their perspective. I think that'd be interesting. But yeah, it's not gonna. Don't hype your game based upon an engine. That's crazy.
Anyway, it's interesting that the Splitgate is pretty popular, like the game, and they're just going, you know, we're ending development on this because we want to work on the next big thing, which is kind of the opposite thing that happened with Among Us, where Among Us was really underground, not very popular at all. They started working on Among Us 2, and were like, right, Among Us is kind of built on, you know, not great tech. Let's move it over spaghetti code. Let's move over to a new project. And then Among Us became very popular. So they kind of just had to scrap Among Us 2. But this is the opposite, where Splitgate is built on spaghetti code and is insanely popular, and they're going, no, we're going to stop it and development, and we want to build a new game that we have on solid code and try and move our fan base over.
Yeah, I think they're going to keep supporting it, like Just make sure there's no bugs and like the servers are running well.
Yeah,
But
the
like the
servers will
developers are
keep
gonna
running,
move
but
over.
there
Yeah,
won't be new content added.
yeah, exactly.
For
I'm just wondering, is there
software.
enough content for people to wait for the new stuff? Because I would assume yes, if it's like a really popular game still, unless they're only there for the like waiting for the new content. I don't know how that works for people.
So they basically just said, we want to make a revolutionary new game in a new engine. It will be a shooter. It will have portals. It will be an Unreal Engine 5. It will be free. We understand many of you are disappointed and have a lot of questions. You want to clear that Splitgate will remain online, and as will your items and progression. In fact, we will write a new battle pass on September 15th, which
So that'd be the last content drop, I suppose.
game support will continue. There will be small updates and fixes to Splitgate, but they're not going to be adding new content to the game. Basically,
Yeah.
the servers will be put on maintenance mode.
Yeah, obviously I don't play the game, but like the game does look good, and obviously I'm not invested because I'm not playing it constantly. I'm not investing like, oh, how does that actually work? I'm actually interested to see what the next game is like, considering how good the first one was.
Yeah, we've got some quick Steam news. The new feature Find Games to Play Together on the friends list, I think, is an interesting idea. I think it's currently very broken.
Yeah, I've not seen anyone use it.
Well, I've got it on my Steam because I'm in the beta branch and it does nothing as well for me. So I think it's just
Oh,
they're
okay.
testing it out, but it's really broken at the moment. I'll see if I can get it to work. Let's see where. I'll find games to play with you, Tony. Let's have a look. Oh, the options are gone now. Do they have to be online?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen you have on.
No, so I had it like literally earlier, but now it's gone now. So they must have either released it by accident or they realized that it was broken. So they basically, we know this feature is coming now, and I think it's a really good idea because constantly I'm like, oh, I want to know like quickly what games do we both own so we can play a game together. I think this is a really really good idea.
Question is, will this roll out to like an entire group of like like Steam, like I don't know, if Steam group's the right word, but like a small group of people that are going to play like games together in like a group chat. A group chat.
The SteamDB dev just said that the URL used for this feature could take a list of user IDs, not just one. So it's possible you could have a Steam group and then find games that you could all play together.
Because technically, at the moment, you can already sort of do that through the game. Like you go to your profile, go to games, and like
it's possible on third-party websites.
Yeah.
People have to set their games to be public so you can see them all, and then you have to cross-reference them between multiplayer and single player and stuff like that.
But even the third-party things weren't great for like more than like a couple of people. So.
But I think if they get this to work, this will be a really, really useful feature and a value proposition for Steam because more people will be playing multiplayer games together, which means more people will be buying multiplayer games together. So,
yeah.
Next up, so I don't know if we talked about this. I think we have. Brock the Investigator, the game that was being like false flagged by the game, had fake negative reviews from curators because. They essentially they were taking the review codes that were being sent out to review the game. They were trying to sell them on third-party retailer websites. And the developer realized that this was happening and made it so they weren't full copies of the games. They were just review codes specifically, so you couldn't actually use them as full game codes. Yeah. And then once the creators realized this, they tried to basically review bomb Brock the Investigator through the curator system. All the curator groups that have targeted Brock the Investigator have been banned for violating Steam's community rules. So it seems like Steam has caught onto this situation based on the
and they investigated
and has banned these people, which is cool to see.
I assume the dev had to like give over, or they gave information for like Valve to figure it out as well.
But that thing always confused me, like, because I see so many random curators on the curator system, and I always thought, why do people do this? Like, they create like these very meme accounts, or there's so many random ones that will just say, yes, I like this game, no, I don't like this game, but no information whatsoever. Like, they're clearly not reviewing the games, and it seems like these could almost be bots set up literally just to try and farm keys and sell them through these third-party retailers in the same way. Do you remember the Greenlight Mafia for and trading cards
Yep,
as well.
yep, I do remember that.
Like if there's a way to make money on Steam, it seems like it is exploited a lot of the time, which is interesting. Yeah. Oh, Sony. Hello, Intellivision Amico news.
Oh my god. Do
We
you
have
want a
some
timestamp for this?
yes, Intellivision Amnico news, breaking news. Chimpanzee
Okay.
that, Intellivision Amnico news. Intellivision Amnico is allowing its exclusive games to release on other systems. This is right. The number one Intellivision Amnico podcast news is brought to you by the Inbetween podcast. Every week, I try and find more news about the failed console that has declared bankruptcy several times and apparently is still coming out. They say the company isn't any closer to a release date, and that anticipates limited numbers of machines when that day eventually comes. But for now, apparently some people thought it was a good idea to have exclusives to the Intellivision Amnico, which, if you don't know, is essentially a weird NES level device with controllers that you can control with your phone for the Brazilian market or like the South American market. It is the weirdest fucking console system I've ever seen. It keeps
Yeah.
surprising me so much that this console system still exists. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, the game I just saw, that's at least GameCube graphics. I mean, that one's got GameCube graphics.
Pre Wii.
Also, fun fact: the CEO of this company owns the rights to the oof sound from Roblox. That's just another fun. That's just another fun fact about the Intellivision Amnico cinematic universe.
It's crazy the connections these guys have.
Yeah, it wouldn't be Intellivision Amnico news if we didn't immediately move on to the blunder section. Next up, Blunders. We have a rare blunder here from Halo Infinite update. So I don't know if you've read about this, Tony, but
I have, yeah.
Season 3's been delayed until March 2023. Season 2 will last for 10 months, so we still have the Season 2 going. Split screen co-op, that's local co-op, has been completely cancelled.
Really?
Which is
Like completely?
there's
Unless
no
they're just
split screen
delayed.
local co-op
Okay.
for this game. Completely cancelled. Forge been delayed to November. Campaign co-op and replay has been delayed until November. And yeah, this is crazy. So back in 2017, they promised all new FPS Halo games would have split screen co-op after Halo 5 release without it. And that promise didn't even last a single game. So
No.
technically there's a bug where you can still play split screen co-op through Halo Infinite, but it's like a weird bug that you have to do in order to get this feature to work, which is insane that it's kind of working. They've gone, no, cancel it, fuck it, sort of thing. Like I've personally played so much Halo local split screen co-op that it seems insane that this wasn't a launch feature. Like, I think there's a lot of things about Halo Infinite where like I really like this, but it's such a shame that it released in such a broken state.
Yeah, the actual gameplay stuff is good, and then like everything else around it, like what's
I think I
supporting it is
honestly would have
bad.
preferred if they just delayed the game until it was like fully
Yeah,
complete. Like it released released multiplayer like 4 maps. It was completely broken. Like the party system, but the matchmaking was really bad.
yeah,
There's been some technical performance issues. I think specifically, I think AMD's favored on Infinite because it's like clearly designed for an Xbox. So it works much more better on the RDNA graphics.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Shame to see. Hopefully that eventually Forge and Co-op. I don't because I haven't played the single player campaign yet. I was kind of because Co-op was being flighted recently, like this month or like last month. Because I have a Halo Andy. I was talking with him
Okay.
recently. I was saying like, hey, because I wanted to play the new Infinite game, and I was like, it looks really cool, but we always play Halo Co-op together. So we've played through the Master Chief Collection. We've played every single Halo game together, from 1 to Halo 4. So the idea that the co-op's been delayed again and local co-op's been completely removed is just insane. Like 4-player Halo co-op, I think should be baseline for a Halo game at this point, and the fact that it released without it is insane. Yeah, pretty crazy. Next up on Blunders we have Domina, the game where the creator of the game got banned from the Steam forums for getting into fights with people on the forums and removing any negative reviews of the game. Has actually just had his game removed from Steam. This is after using patch notes to sprout transphobic rhetoric, and also I think he threatened Gabe Newell as well. And I remember just in the back of my mind, somebody else threatened Gabe Newell on Steam, and they were very quickly removed from Steam. So I think if you're going to threaten Valve employees, then it's a very bad move if you want your game to exist on Steam. Obviously not a very good idea. But yeah. See, the thing is, I think, like, I had a friend, I said this before, but I had a friend who played this, and he said it like, the game itself was okay, so it's a shame if you're a fan of this game, but obviously it's not a shame to see the developer go, because clearly they were in not a great place mentally. Next up we have Overwatch 2 will be releasing new characters through the Battle Pass, but have them available through the free track. So that's I kind of hate this system, but it's better that you eventually can unlock them for free. Like, because I'm someone who owns Overwatch, like I own Overwatch, and I like the system where a new character came out in Overwatch, right? And you could just jump in and play the new character, but it's like now you either have to spend a bunch of time playing Overwatch 2 to unlock the new character, or you're going to have to essentially pay to unlock the new character, sort of thing. So I don't know. What do you think about this, Tony? Where all the characters in Overwatch now are going to be released through the Battle Pass rather than just being able to pay them straight from the game? Because when Overwatch 2 was free to play, I was like, oh, they make tons of money from the loot boxes and skins. They're going to leave the game as it is, but just make it cosmetics. But it seems like gameplay will be affected.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be honest. I preferred the way the Overwatch 1 released. Like, to me, like I like the complete, like, you buy a complete package and like other stuff afterwards. I don't know. It really rubs me the wrong way.
Well, the thing is, we've seen this move from Blizzard recently. Even like, I'm a big fan of Hearthstone Battlegrounds. It's one of my favorite auto battlers. I'm a big fan of like the auto chess game mode. I've been playing stuff like Battlegrounds, auto chess, like TFT in the past. I'm a big fan of those sort of games. And one of the things was, because I complained about this in the past, I said, hey, when you start a game, you select from 2 heroes, but if you pay gold or real game money, you can select from 4 heroes, and it's like a massive advantage to select from multiple heroes. And I was okay with it because it's pretty easy to earn gold in Hearthstone. So like, essentially, you could earn as long as it's pretty easy to earn the characters through the Battle Pass in Overwatch 2, fine, whatever. What they changed?
Yeah, I mean, I still think it's slightly shitty because, like, obviously, like, then like development will eventually like switch to, we need to make money. So like, yeah, but as long as it's fine, like, yeah, I would say it's okay.
What they changed recently about Battlegrounds in Hearthstone, which is another Blizzard Activision title, is that they made this new currency called Runestones. And in order to unlock the extra 2 characters, it's on the Battle Pass, and it's on the Premium Battle Pass, so it's locked behind a pay gate. And the only way to buy the Battle Pass, you can't use in-game currency that you can earn. They've added a brand new currency called Runestones that you have to buy. So they've essentially paywalled the ability to select from 2 extra characters, which is actually like giving players a unfair advantage in the lobby. Which I'm just like, essentially, the game is slightly more pay to win. When I think the biggest problem for Activision Blizzard with Battlegrounds was they made a game mode that was like lightning in a bottle, which was insanely fun and insanely free to play, where you had no reason to spend any money on the game, which Blizzard were like, shit, we need to find a way to paywall some of this.
Well, this is just why I just feel like like they should just like release games. Like, you make money up front.
Don't you guys have phones? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Oh, speaking about more fuck Blizzard news, Diablo Immortal
Oh
whales have
yeah.
this is really funny. Diablo Immortal whales have faced massive orb debt after third-party refunds. So if you don't know, um, orbs are the currency in Diablo Immortal. They are essentially you do a rift, right, and you do the free-to-play rift, and at the end you get a
Yeah.
green, right. You spend a
Yeah.
bunch of orbs doing one of these rifts, and it drops like 7 or 8 legendaries instead. So it's the main
Yeah.
like pay-to-win mechanic in Diablo Immortal. What happened was a bunch of people, like whales and stuff, they bought in-game rewards through sketchy third-party websites at a discount, so they could buy more orbs while giving Blizzard less money, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um, Blizzard found out about this and was like, they completely nuked the purchases, so they like removed all the orbs from the account. Tony, not only did they remove all the orbs from the account, you're not gonna. Diablo Immortal literally implemented a debt system. So if they want to play the game again, they have to repay their debt of the orbs that they earned illicitly through these third-party sketchy websites.
Oh my
So
god,
there's
that's so
literally
dumb.
a debt system in the biggest fucking money-grabbing cash monetization game that is possibly out there.
This is the worst
This is
one.
so hilarious how fucking awful this is. Where you can now to play the game, you literally the game won't let you play it unless you pay off your debt. It is. I've never seen this before, where there's literal debt inside a fucking video game. This is
Yeah,
insane to me.
that is terrible. Okay.
Like this is unprecedented.
But then, yeah, that seems really. I don't know. Like I realize that it comes from like a dodgy thing from what the whales were doing. Um,
Yeah,
I don't really want to use the term whale. I feel like that's like that's the words that they use for real people.
right.
But no, I don't know. Like I feel like you just take like considering
People.
how much money they've made, you just take the L and like then patch it out.
Mm.
Yeah, this is really dumb. Like then again, like the whole thing was already scummy. So like it's I'm not. You know what? This is surprising, but this
But
is a level of greed beyond what I was expecting, and it
well,
was
the thing
already
is,
the
usually what
worst
happens when
greedy
people
thing.
exploit in their other games, so like World of Warcraft, for example, Blizzard,
Yeah,
if someone exploits in World of Warcraft, they get like a slap on the wrist,
yeah.
a
You
week
take it
ban,
away and like don't do
a
it
two
again.
day ban, or
Yeah.
we take away the stuff and they just carry on, right? And the reason they did this was they're not going to ban people because they have to subscribe to play the game. That's the
Yes.
reason they don't. They give them a slap on the wrist because they want their money. They don't, go after people who are multi-boxing. Which, if you don't understand, multi-boxing is people who have multiple WoW accounts all set up to be playing. They push one keystroke and it makes all the characters move in that keystroke at the same time, and then they use that to farm stuff or gang up and do like PvP raids on specific people to harass them. Blizzard doesn't give a shit about that stuff because they're paying for separate WoW accounts prices
Yeah.
for every single account. The reason they implemented this was they know that the people that they're targeting clearly spent a lot of money on the game because they
Mm-hmm.
wanted to have those in-game items, and they have this psychological problem where they are willing to put a lot of money into a game and they don't really understand the repercussions of putting all of that money into the game. Blizzard realized that these people exist and they've gone, well, we don't want to make them stop playing the game. Why don't we implement a system where they have to give us that money back in order to keep playing this game that they're clearly addicted to, sort of thing?
Yep. This is why I didn't want to use like the term well lit. I think like there's a lot of people who are like not obviously like not involved. They're not executives at Activision Blizzard, but they just assume all whales like have like tons of money. Like good, they're just wasting their money. It's like no, a lot of these people go into debt because they're addicted to a game. They don't actually have the money. So like it so that if they've also then put them if they've gone into debt buying for grey market orbs and then go into debt in the game, like that's awful. That's a terrible, terrible combination.
So apparently, one of the players affected is one of the game's top battleground wizards. So if you don't know, Diablo Immortal has PvP, and it's completely pay to win because the players with the best gear will just walk
Oh
around
yeah,
one-shotting everyone. Just look up
yeah,
Diablo Immortal PvP if you're interested in seeing someone
yeah.
walk around one-shotting people,
It's
knowing that they've
hilarious.
spent thousands of dollars on the game. Apparently, one of the top players showed an image of their minus 2,491,025 ore balance.
Jesus
So an
Christ.
amount that would cost $35,000 or £31,000 to pay off through purchases on Blizzard's in-game store. The people have been given like 30k worth of debt in order to try and play the game again.
That is awful. That's you buy a car.
Yeah, but what's the name of the one you're getting? The
The Cooper Bomb. That's more than 30 grand, but it starts at 34,000. Just get a car.
Funny, isn't it puzzling? The top PvP player has spent like over $30,000 worth of outside money into these microtransactions. There's a correlation there between spending money on the game and being powerful in the game. I don't know what you'd call that. Buy to not lose. Buy to not lose.
Buy a power buy.
Yeah. Jesus fucking Christ! All right, let's move on to more shit news. Bioshock Infinite has a quality of life. Do you remember when I was saying on Rust how they're removing the quality of life stuff? Bioshock Infinite has a quality of life update, which makes the game fucking worse because it adds an addition of a new launcher, which includes a store
I hate
to purchase
third-party
new
launchers for no
content.
reason, by the way.
Account linking option added in game. Why? Why do I want to link a 2K account?
Yeah.
So, currently, the 2K launcher is pretty shit. So, it had a bug that prevented people from being able to play XCOM 2 for months before they fixed it.
Oh my god.
It broke the Mafia games when they remastered and added to the old ones. People were having to get around it by launching the actual exe and going around the 2K launcher.
Yeah.
This has broke the game on Linux, which also means this has broken the games on the Steam Deck.
That really sucks.
So, what a great quality of life update that you've added to these 10-year plus old games now. That just completely breaks them for people. What quality of life have you added to this game?
This seems more broken than other third-party things, because the stuff that I interact with that often is like the Paradox third-party launcher, which I'm okay with existing for something like Stellaris, but I still have a problem where I can't just launch it in. But because the reason why I'm okay with it for Stellaris is because it has before launching the game, you can mess around with what mods are loaded. But I should still be able to easily just press the play button and just launch in a vanilla instance without going through the launcher. I do have a problem with City Skylines. It's just a billboard for the new DLC that comes out, and that's it. It's completely pointless to launch a launcher to launch the game just so I can see DLC that I may or may not want. But this is a step further, where it's just absolutely broken.
So if you go up to the Bioshock Infinite Steam News Hub from where the post is, and you click back, it has news articles integrated to say, "Hey, this is cool stuff about the game." If you go onto it, the news post after the quality of life update is the Bioshock games are completely broken on the Steam Deck because of the quality of life update. It's just this is the reality we're living in. 2K has edited a statement, and I will read this out because they've said this. So they said 2K are aware of possible impacts related to the recent update and are working to resolve. Our player experience is paramount, and we'll update our community with more information as it becomes available. This means we've heard that this is broken shit. We don't care. We might fix this.
2K is awful. 2K is awful. Absolutely fucking awful.
If you could, instead of fixing the issues that the 2K launcher adds, could you either A, remove the 2K launcher, or B, tell me why the 2K launcher is a quality of life update to the game?
What is the benefit?
What benefit am I getting from an additional step to getting me into the game for no reason? There is no 2K content for the Bioshock games. There is nothing there that you need it for.
Oh god. Yeah, no. To me, it's just it's trying to get you to sign into or get you to sign up for the 2K
Technically, there's multiplayer for Bioshock 2, but that's not run through the 2K launcher.
Right. Okay. Oh my god.
Yeah. Let's move on to tech news. let's talk about some good stuff. The
Less depressing.
Ryzen 7000 has launched, so this is running on TSMC's 5 nanometer processor coming September 27th. What was the thing that was running on I saw something on a 4 nanometer recently. I think it may be is it the iPhones? The new iPhones running
Yeah,
on
the
4 nanometer?
Apple stuff is on 4 nanometer.
So this is finally introducing Zen 4, DDR5, and PCIe 5.0. This is going to be run through the AM5 socket, so you will need a new motherboard if you're going to move to the 7000 series. AMD says the sweet spot for DDR5 RAM with the new Ryzen 7000 series right now is 6000 megahertz. So if you're looking to get some DDR5 RAM, don't. It's fucking expensive. Wait for the prices to drop first. But if you are looking to upgrade,
there's a reason why I'm buying AM4.
Is I would say, wait for the cheaper motherboards to come out, because basically AMD themselves said, hey, we're essentially going to be releasing these, because there's no motherboards right now for the sockets. So they're going to be releasing the motherboards with the CPU sort of thing, but they're the higher end ones, basically the pro overclocking SKUs. And AMD themselves have basically said, hey, just wait for the cheap motherboards. They're the same. They just are not
unless
for
overclocking. There's no point.
So let's go through. So, another thing to point out, Tony, all the Ryzen 7000 chips come with integrated GPUs, RDNA 2 graphics. So
wait, they all do?
Yeah, which is really interesting.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Which is weird, because usually what they do is they release the X SKU and it has no integrated graphics, and then they release the G SKU for games.
Which is slightly slower than the X SKU.
Or GPU, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's just for graphics, I think.
So, some interesting things to point out here in terms of pricing. The 7700 seems to be replacing the slot of the 7800, so it's an 8-core 16-thread for around similar price to the previous SKUs. Obviously, it's hard to tell because these come out in dollars, and I work in pounds, and every time a new product comes out, I try and look up the price in pounds, I can never find it. And it's not always as easy as just converting it, because a lot of companies these days have just been releasing the dollar price in pounds. And I think wasn't a company sued recently for doing this?
Technically Sony.
Sony got in trouble for not converting their price from dollars to
as
pounds.
Moist Critical points out, it doesn't really make much sense, because some of their arguments are they were hiding it from the customer. Also, I want to point out as well, American quoted dollars do not include tax, whereas all British quotes will include 20% tax.
I think it's the whole of Europe. It is value-added taxes on the product. Yes, because that
you cannot show it without it.
Because so this is for international American viewers or anything, right? It really confused me the first time I went into a Costco, because there's Costco's in the UK, and every supermarket and store in the UK, you have the tax already on the products. So you look at the price on the label and you go, this is how much it costs. You go to the checkout, that's how much it costs. You go to Costco, all the prices are pre-tax. Why is this useful information? That's not how much it's going to cost me.
The only exception in this country is there are places where you can buy for businesses only, and they don't have to pay tax. However, they still have to show the with tax included, because they actually have to pay the with tax, but then they get a rebate from the government of the tax difference.
Okay.
But yeah, and I've seen some arguments. I'm not going to get too much into this, but I'm saying I disagree with what people are about to say, or I've seen arguments like, because in America, right, they don't include the tax because different taxes for different states, right? Yeah. I think that's awful. I think just having a unified tax for your entire country or your entire EU commercial zone makes way more sense. I don't understand this per state tax thing. Just have a static tax across everywhere. It makes it less confusing.
Anyway, it seems like the 950X slot from the previous SKU is $100 cheaper than it was previously.
It was expensive before.
This could be either, it was expensive, the reason why, but I think this is probably for later down the line they're going to release one of the 3D chiplet design things that they did with the 5800, was it?
800 X3D.
Which was more powerful for IPC for gaming, right?
It was so it had a higher boost clock and had far more L3 cache.
So I believe what's going to happen, this is speculation, what's going to happen is they're going to release these, they're going to wait until Intel releases their CPUs, and Intel's going to go, we're going to have massive fucking TDP on like a massive i9 sort of thing to be like the next 12900K basically. I guess the 1300K, right? 13. Yeah. Anyway, the next like big CPU will come with that. Right, we've got a CPU that's more powerful than AMD, and then AMD will go, well, we've been holding back this 3D chiplet, which can now take back the crown to AMD. It's going to be a leapfrog, basically, is what I feel like it's going to happen.
Yeah, I think there are complications with the 3D stuff, and I do know like they're for the next Zen stuff as well. They're planning to have a non-3D stuff and then 3D stuff. We just don't know which products are going to get the 3D-ified effect, but people suspect it's going to be exactly the same as the 5000 series, where like the 5800 X3D was the 3D one, and there wasn't really much of anything else. But we'll have to see.
Okay. I'm looking at this and I'm like, not because I have a 5600 and I'm looking to upgrade this early because it's such a white screen at the moment and there's one fly in my room flying around. Okay. I've got 5600 X, and I was looking at specifically the 7700 because you get those 8 cores, those 16 threads, you get the huge. Another thing people are noticing is the turbo frequency. You can get up to 5 gigahertz pretty easily, it seems like.
Well, the base clock is really high as well. Like it's as high as the boost clocks from the previous.
You get crazy amount of L2 and L3 cache as well, and the TDPs are still like relatively low. I was looking at the 7700 and thinking 8 cores, 16 threads. That I think the 7700 might be the sweet spot here, but I'm not 100%. I'm gonna have to wait for testing to come out.
Going back to TDP for just a split second, I just find it funny that the highest TDP that like AMD have on these sets is like half of what Intel has. I just think that's funny.
Yeah, it's because Intel's like, we're just gonna brute force our power.
I think they were caught with their pants down, and realistically, they haven't had time to have like efficient architecture.
Whereas Intel is more overclockable because they kind of they're less efficient in terms of then less lockdown.
Yeah,
which is kind of a good thing when you think about like just the base running frequency of like a lot of the AMD stuff has been. It doesn't boost very high because they've got it good thermals and running at a good stable frequency sort of thing.
Yeah, realistically, like it's already like AMD stuff before has always been like you couldn't really overclock it. It's already at its maximum.
Yeah,
but was more efficient. So
I think this is really cool. I'm basic, but there's essentially the reason I was looking at the 7000 as an upgrade, even though I recently got the 5600 in the past couple of years. It's times like is a confusing thing at this point. The reason I was looking at upgrade is because I need new RAM and I need a new motherboard because my RAM is gone. And my motherboard is not doing great either. The motherboards die a lot. They're like something that failed the most often. And so basically, I need to replace
the CPU.
Yeah. I need to replace my motherboard and my RAM. And I'm thinking, well, if I'm replacing my motherboard and my RAM, it would make sense to wait to upgrade from DDR4 to DDR5. If I'm going to DDR5, I need a new motherboard, and if I'm getting a new motherboard, I need a new CPU. I need the AM5 socket CPU sort of thing. So right now I'm waiting because, as I've previously alluded to, we have to wait for reviews. But because they've boasted some 13% increase in IPC, which could be a huge boost for over Zen 3 as well. So if that comes out to be true, that's a big boost for gaming.
increase and clock speed increase combined is crazy.
That's a big boost for gaming, especially when you are CPU limited. So that'll be titles like Crysis or 1080p gaming, you're going to see a massive increase from CPU performance.
Yeah.
You're less GPU dependent.
Strategy games.
Strategy games. Turn timers on Civ 6, up. Here we go.
Yeah.
For AI
Plenty of real-time
opponents.
strategy games.
Oh, sorry, real-time strategy. Yeah. Like Total War, I think they use a lot.
Yeah, that has been one of the biggest. I think that was on their grass, and I think it was improved quite a bit.
But anyway, I'm looking at this, and my reaction is, this is cool, but I'm probably going to wait until next year before I even look at any of this stuff because I want to see what's coming out from Intel, and also I'm waiting for those motherboards to come out, and I really want DDR5 pricing to go down because it's like 200 quid for like a couple of sticks of DDR5. It's insane right now.
And but they only come in 16 gigs minimum per stick, right?
No, you can get 8 GB sticks.
You can get 8. Okay, I could not see 16 when I was looking.
No, I looked on like eBuyer or Scan or something, and
right.
you can get 8 GB sticks. So because currently I'm running 16 GB of RAM, and I think that's like that's a fine amount of RAM.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. More AMD news. Oh, it's time to upscale even further. FSR 2.1 has come out. The source code is out, and the plugin for Unreal Engine are available on GPU Open from June onwards.
Okay.
Sorry, earlier this year, FSR 2.0 was released with a plugin for Unreal Engine and source code. This is our Blues post. Our first major of FSR 2.1. In fact, you can see FSR 2.1 in our latest patch for Farming Simulator 2022. I love that the game we're seeing for 2.1 is Farming Simulator.
It's the game everyone wants.
But as noted by me in my Metro Exodus Tangerine, one of the big things with AI image upscaling in motion is the motion vectors are very confusing to AI, and you get an effect called ghosting. So as you can see here in FSR 2.0, the tractor blades, you're seeing a previously rendered frame sort of like stuck on the frame itself, like a ghosted effect, like you're seeing
a ghost image on the wrong
transparent image of a previous frame because it's not correctly interpolating the motion vectors. I believe that is the correct term. I'm probably talking out my ass because I don't know all the correct terms for this sort of stuff, but it seems like FSR 2.1 has improved this ghosting effect. So
at least with these tractors,
that was something that the later versions of DLSS massively improved on the earlier versions of post 2.0. Was ghosting was a big thing in games like Metro Exodus. I think Death Stranding, the bird specifically, was another big one. And people found that later versions fixed this, and also just using DLSS Picker and just taking later versions of DLSS and implemented them into older versions. As long as they're 2.0 plus, you can just swap around the DLSS version files, sort of thing, which is pretty cool. But this is really cool because it is open source and it is available for more games and more people with AMD GPUs and non-AMD GPUs as well. So really cool to see. I'm also interested to see like more about the sex backwards XESS Intel's upscaling with the Matrix cores. It seems like from all the testing we've seen so far, XESS is worth it on Intel's GPUs, but it doesn't make sense if you have an option like TAA, FSR, or well implemented TAA or DLSS instead, because it works a lot better on Intel compared to other vendors. So you might as well use your vendor's upscaling. It seems like
from what I see in testing, 100%.
Although that being said, I find it really funny that FSR runs better on NVIDIA cards than it does AMD cards.
I think they just got better AI technology like for the cores.
I think genuinely do think FSR 2.0 has been from what I've seen, it's been a big improvement on FSR 2.1.0 because
it's like DLSS 1.0 to 2.0. Like
so
actually adding
I personally used
there
was like a Age of Century or something like Ashes of Century. It was like a dragon PvP game, and I turned FSR 1.0 on it. It was like watching the game. Someone like smudged Vaseline on my screen. I was like,
Yeah.
"Holy shit, this is blurry!" Like, and it seems like 2.0 has been a massive improvement, closer to something like DLSS, and I'm hoping AMD catches up. It's just as someone who has an Nvidia card past the 2000 series, it makes sense for me to keep using it because it is currently superior in that technology, but I'm happy that more of these technologies are existing.
It's
So
also
it's
like
really
adds
important.
competition to this
Yeah,
as well, which is nice.
yeah. Which is why I'm also hoping that XeSS gets a lot better on
Yeah, absolutely.
specifically on third-party cards as
Which
well.
is why I even want their graphics division to keep going, even if it's kind of bad right
I'm a
now.
bit worried about Intel's
Yeah,
marketing scheme right now of releasing their lowest end card rather than the highest end card. Then also, I understand
it's
their
barely available in the West.
well, mostly. I understand the idea is they're trying to remove a bunch of the older translation bloatware systems by making it run well with DirectX 12 or 11, and then
Yeah,
try and essentially alpha test their own implementations through people
yeah,
buying the GPU in order to get it running through older games, which are like, it's a lofty goal, but whether it's there's value proposition for a individual person to buy that GPU, I think the answer is usually no.
yeah.
Which is like
And the only
obviously,
market I've seen it might actually be worth it because of the way the pricing works is like from like video editing and like graphics editing sort of stuff.
yeah, there was a
But like
big
professional,
because of their the video and audio codecs things
yeah, their
on the
codecs
cards
are
and that.
really good. And if you're
Uh,
running DX12, like it's competitive pricing, like per
I do
performance
have a game I can
unit.
cast 2.0 in, Tony. 2.0 is
Okay.
coming to Deep Rock Galactic, so
Oh,
it's available. It's
nice.
available now, and they are also celebrating an Oktoberfest event on September 15th.
Why?
So that's
Why
coming
is
soon.
Oktoberfest in September?
Oktoberfest.
Why is?
It will end on October 3rd, so it will go into October, I guess.
Yeah, but okay. Well,
I can tell you why, Tony. Halloween. They don't want to overlap
right.
the Oktoberfest event with Halloween.
Okay.
That's
Did
probably
it
the reason.
used to be in October then?
I don't think they've ever done it before, to my knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah, but it makes sense because they have like a big bar in the space station in Deep Rock Galactic. So
Right.
yeah. Oh, Tony, we got the iPhone 14 event, and they changed nothing and added a better camera.
Have
What? Okay, what are you gonna say?
no. It might make more sense if you complete it. I think.
Okay, so I'll just go through quickly some of the stuff they. So one of the genuinely cool things they added was the satellite connectivity. So it's the first phone that's going to allow you to um, connect to a satellite for SOS, like emergency signals. So
Yeah.
if you're somewhere that
Slow.
doesn't, if you're somewhere that doesn't have access to, um, a mobile um, connectivity connection or a internet, you'll be able to bring up this app on your phone, and there's an app that helps you like aim it and stuff that is pretty intuitive for people who are like in trouble.
Yeah.
Um, and basically, it says it works better when you're outside. So you got to try and be outside, and if you point it up to the sky, I'm not sure where to point it, but you will be able to send an SOS message, and I believe it will even send your medical ID as well if you have your medical ID set up through iOS.
Yeah, my understanding is well, like the app will like you'll put all the information first, and then it will like start sending it. So like it's all like packaged together. So
But
it's not. So
apparently,
it's
the
like more
iPhone
efficient.
13 also had some satellite hardware, but connectivity was never implemented because a suitable business
Yeah.
model could not be negotiated. And
This is.
another thing,
I was
just
going to
quickly, I'll go
mention.
into.
Yeah.
This is going to be free for a couple of years, and then they haven't announced how they if they're going to monetize it. So you will get this satellite connectivity stuff for free, and then somewhere down the line they'll be like, "This is an
Yeah.
Apple Health Plus feature that you get satellite
Well,
connectivity or something like that."
I think basically it's like at the moment it's because it's just emergency stuff. You can't really pay for it. But I think the idea is eventually like other carriers. So it's not. This isn't connected to them, but like it is related in terms of like who's going to be in charge of what. The T-Mobile thing with the Starlink thing. like they're starting with the emergency service stuff.
Yeah, because
So
I
like
think
obviously
it's
this will pair with their service because it's their Starlink satellite technology going to the base stations and like being processed by T-Mobile,
mm,
and so like and then your Apple phone will then communicate with the Starlink satellite. It doesn't have to be. That's just like one option to do this. I think there are other satellites that can do similar things. But I was going to say, I think this might be an actual capability of like the 5G antennas because
right.
Android has announced that the newest Android stuff will also have satellite connectivity.
Oh, that's really interesting. Then is this was
Like just an update, not like you need a new phone. Like, but it has to be a 5G phone, I believe, and it has to be like running the
so
latest, like super
it
latest
seems like
Android.
these newer phones with the 5G functionality built into them, they have this feature, but it wasn't enabled because they didn't have the partnership with the
It
satellites yet.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, I was going to go into this because I've been I watch a lot of Scott Manley stuff, and I'm not entirely I'm not 100% on this, but I'm just kind of like what my understanding is of this
Yeah.
is that basically the satellites themselves have to like be more powerful at both detecting and sending information in
Mm.
order to get this to work.
Yeah,
So
because
technically, any mobile with enough power could and satellite with enough detection and power could also communicate with each other. It's just going to be super slow without like proper base, like big antenna base
the
stations.
reason this is big news is because previously, in order to connect to a satellite, you had to get a giant dish and shove it on a roof. But this is going to be a
Yes.
phone that's going to sit in your pocket. This is like the idea
Yeah.
of Apple and Android doing this is pushing forward the technology of satellite
Yeah.
capabilities, and specifically, I think we talked about it previous is the T-Mobile SpaceX collab
Yeah.
is going to allow to provide
I'm
smartphone connectivity
pretty.
through satellite.
I'm pretty sure this massive collab because they're both really big companies and like they can support a lot of people like with their satellites, even though like you have to wait for it to actually be overhead and stuff. But that's a different problem. But yeah, I honestly think because of this big talks of this sort of thing with other companies and T-Mobile and Starlink is that the reason why we might as well actually put us engineers in trying to get this to work because this service will actually be possible in the future, which I do think is interesting.
Yeah, and
Um,
what was the what else are you going to say? Sorry.
I just want to quickly say, there's weird complications, however, with like how where you can actually use this and
Mm.
who you actually are, because technically T-Mobile is like it has to go through like I think it's the FAA. Or I think it might be not the FAA, but it's one of like the US communications regulators, right?
Yeah.
The problem is like it has to go through them. What bands can who can use it, what bands can use it, and like where you can use it. So if like you're in a different like if you bought an American phone, you're in a different country's waters, and you're trying to use the satellite to communicate. Like it's a big mess. So I'm not sure what the business plan for this is.
Mm.
Like we have to like really see how this is actually going to work. It might be like a complete mess.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see if this is like worth.
But this is kind of all this is kind of interesting because like coming from like the tech stuff into like my like stuff that I'm interested in with like satellite and space stuff. So it's just kind of interesting when this happens.
Yeah, so the other changes, there's like the 14 and the 14 Plus are getting the A15 Bionic, which is Apple's next mobile chip.
Yes, the
Uh,
non plus gets the old chips then.
no, it just says that yeah, well, no, it's because the iPhone 14 and the iPhone 14 Plus are getting the A15. So
Oh, okay, right.
that's what it says on Apple's website.
Isn't there a lower? I'm not a lower end. I'm thinking. Of, okay.
Yeah, I think there's a version that will still have the A14 chip as well.
Yeah.
Um, other than that, there's the cutout punch thing with the camera inside the screen, and then there's this thing called Dynamic Island because it's an OLED screen. What
Can
they
I
can
just say?
do is add like these little notifications to the side of the cutout in order to like
I
multitask and
think
stuff.
I can I just say I think Apple's implementation of the punch out hole, cut out hole, whatever you want to like camera cutout
Yeah,
thing, or whatever you want to call it, I think is the best implementation of it. It still looks fucking awful when you go full screen.
yeah. So
Can I just say what my idea of how this all should work? It won't be a cutout, it would be a notch. A
right.
smaller notch than Apple's. Apple's notch was too big before, but it should still be a notch. You then put all the all the useful information at the top bar, but full screen never goes above that information thing. So like it never goes like above the notch. So like your content is never obscured by the notch. Because you've got like basically OLED stuff here, you can just have pure blacks and it won't distract you. So I don't understand why it needs to go literally full screen.
Have you seen the dynamic island stuff they've made specifically for this like punch out thing?
Yeah. I really like the way they're
like,
showing the
they
content
can
there.
just
That's really good.
they can just turn off the pixels sort of thing next
Oh
to it,
yeah.
and then replace it with like you set a timer and I have like a timer next to it, and it's like essentially
that's fantastic.
extends like the punch out, so it's part of the screen.
Yeah,
like,
but did you see the clip after that though? They showed a full screen video playing. It looked fucking awful.
Hole in it.
Yes. My problem is just move your full screen. Like say you've rotated your screen, your notches on the left hand side, right? Move the screen, like make it less horizontal. Like change the aspect ratio so that the full screen for any app and any video does not go into the notch area.
Yeah, I've never used punch out. I've got the iPhone XR,
so annoying.
I just have the notch, and honestly, I've never noticed the notch.
No, Apple. In my opinion, the notch is too big, and I really like my notch thing, where it's just like a small like teardrop cutout with just the camera, and the rest of it is on the top. Yep. Annoyingly though, again, this is what I want when you go full screen within any app. It's obviously full screen or a video. It will like the punch out for the camera is like in obscuring the video. It's like no, just make it less wide. The phone screens are wide enough.
So let's move on from tech news for you. Go to business news and then we'll end the podcast. U.S. government has banned American GPUs from being imported to China, Hong Kong, and Russia. So this is stopping NVIDIA specifically. And this is not gaming GPUs. This is deep learning server GPUs. Yeah. So this is nothing to do with gaming. This is like A100s, which are like $10,000 GPUs for like deep learning, that sort of stuff. So I guess this is in relation to the specifically Russia to the war and China to do with other stuff.
Well, they don't want trying to have like, AI supremacy. Like I think it's important for like a lot of things, and so you don't want to give them that technology, especially if like this is like a US company.
Business news. So I don't know if you know this, Tony, but after the Embracer acquisition, Embracer got the rights to like Eidos Montreal's games and Crystal Dynamics games. But one thing it seems like under Embracer that's happened is basically Embracer have given back the rights to both of their games that they've developed. So Eidos Montreal now owns the games it's developed. So Eidos Montreal owns the Deus Ex and Thieves rights. And Crystal Dynamics owns the Tomb Raider and Legacy of Kain rights.
That's really good. Nice.
So it seems like Embracer just wants to own the company and go, hey, here's your games, do what you want with them, but we just want to make some money off the
That's really cool, hands off. Yeah, that's really good.
So that's pretty cool to see. Tencent and Sony have come together to collectively acquire 30% of From Software, the developers of Dark Souls, Elden Ring. Sixjoy Hong Kong will own 16% of From Software's share. Sony will own 14.9%. And
that's a really weird number.
Kado Dakawa Corporation remains the largest shareholder of the company with 69.66% of shares. So
recurring, of course.
From Software still owns the majority share in their company. Just to say,
wasn't there another company that had like a small acquiring of their shares recently, Joe?
Well, before we talk about, I hadn't put that one in the document up there. I had so there's been another French companies of NetEase acquires leading French game developer and publisher Quantic Dream. So it seems like
the David Cage play people.
So this is the Quantic Dream is the toxic workplace that David Cage makes games.
Yeah, that wants to make movie games basically, or games that look like movies.
And they're a French company. And another French toxic workplace is Ubisoft has announced that a small share of 49.9%, a minority stake in the company. Tencent has acquired this in Guillemot Brothers Limited and has entered into the concert with the company's founders.
It's a minor stake.
It's
The
a
thing is, it's
minority
minor.
stake of the company. Because I think the Guillemot family's owned Ubisoft for a while, and there was talk of lots of different acquisitions from Sony and other companies trying to
If
buy Ubisoft and
they
stuff like that.
own the other 50.1%, they think they technically have a majority, but normally you aim for 51%. So that's like really dicey.
I have to say, I mean, because I think the family specifically owns it, so it's a lot easier to
Yeah,
keep the
yeah, it's
shares
in the
under
family.
control. Because Tencent's acquired the minority passive stake in Guillemot Brothers Limited, so specifically, but then Guillemot Brothers Limited's own Ubisoft, so it's sort of like a parent
Holding
company.
company
Yeah.
sort of thing.
So it's Tencent acquired a 49% economic stake with 5% voting rights in Guillemot Brothers Limited. So
Right.
this is all business jargon, but essentially Tencent is invested in Ubisoft. That's the important news that you need
Huge.
to know.
Yeah, hugely.
Massively invested in Ubisoft. So expect them to cater to China even more. And
More
then
reason
we
not to buy from Ubisoft.
delay. Sons of the Forest has been delayed again, unfortunately. So it's now releasing on February 23rd, 2023. That's my birthday. Sons of the Forest is coming out on my birthday. Let's go.
They did it on
Guys,
purpose, I
if you want
think.
to get me a present, guys, Sons of the Forest is coming out on my birthday. It's priced at $29.99. So
Oh, wow. A small
it
gift.
seems essentially they've said the scope of the game got bigger, and also they wanted to. I think the first one was scope, and then they also wanted to polish the game to make sure it's up to standard. So hopefully it gets polished in time for them. If the game is not polished in that time, delay it again. I'll play it
Yeah,
at some other point.
yeah.
Let's read up Peter
Please
Molyneux's
don't release
tweet, and then
buggy
we'll end the
games.
podcast. Imagine a game where the lines between you being a protagonist versus an NPC become increasingly blurred over time. Somebody replied with, "I think this is called Parenthood."
I don't.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that doesn't have to be the case. Just a lot of people allow that to happen.
Anyway, you can check us out. Oh wait, I forgot to do it. I need to update the outro
The baked
screen.
bean. Oh no.
No. You can check us
Oh.
out. I should have talked about this in the beginning because I completely forgot about it. I'll talk about it now. The Inbetween podcast and everything in between podcast on YouTube. Twitch.tv/Scorn if you want to watch the podcast live. Then at Scorn 2000 on Twitter if you want to follow us there. If you want to listen to the audio only version of the podcast, make sure to check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcast as well as Acast. Acast is providing the main RSS feed for the podcast. So yeah, there's three. There for the longest time was not an audio only version of the podcast. There now is. Check us out. Everything in between podcast on Apple Podcasts, or in between podcast on Spotify.
So what you're saying is you can now listen to us while you're sleeping. I heard that's a big thing. Sleep podcast.
Let me pull up the website. It is shows.acast.com/everything in between podcast. So you can check us that here.
Huge update.
And you can go to our RSS feed and you can check us out.
Last week's podcast is on. Right?
Last week, so I've only done last week's podcast. There is 166 podcasts to go back and convert all to audio if I wanted to do that. But I think generally the idea is now that I'm going to try and make every single podcast from now on, there will be an audio only version of it. So if you're someone because I was out on my bike and I realized that I exclusively listen to podcasts at this point through Apple Podcasts, and I was like, well, it kind of fucking sucks that we don't have an audio version. But thanks to a good friend of mine, Chris, He showed me, I think it was FFmpeg, where you can get like a really quick, high quality audio rip of a video, and then you can upload that to one of these RSS feed hosting podcast websites like Cast, and then from that point, it's quite easy to get it onto Spotify and Apple Podcasts as soon as you have an RSS feed with your podcasts on it. So that's really, really cool to see. Check us out.
Yeah.
On acast.com, everything in between podcast and Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We're here now. We're on Apple Podcasts. You'll love to see
Big
it.
news.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Oh, I'm not playing the music yet.